I think we should be live now. Okay. That was really weird. I wasn't sure what was going on, but yeah, anyways, we are going to be doing the May 2021 International SAT. Give me a few seconds though to pull it up here. Calculator section. Alright. I'm going to try to do this pretty quickly. I don't have much time on my hands right now, but that's alright. Sometimes stuff happens. I don't know why I tried to stream it, had no audio, so I kind of wasted my time, but nevertheless, I will be putting this content out for you guys, because I know a lot of people want to see it. Alright. Let's go ahead and turn this on. Okay. Let's start in 3, 2, 1. In the figure shown, line T intersects line L and K. Which additional piece of information is sufficient to prove that lines L and K are parallel? Okay, so let's see. If X is greater than 90, that's not going to do much, right? That doesn't necessarily prove that these lines are parallel, right? It just doesn't matter, because this line could be X pertains to this line only, has nothing to do with this other line over here, so that's out. Same thing with W, being less than 90, it only pertains to one line. And then if W equals Y, it's not going to change much. Again, that only pertains to this little area, but I like answer choice D if Y equals Z, right? Because then these two angles are similar, or are equal, and then these two are also equal, making them parallel. So it's going to be D. Alright, let me check the stream 1 second to make sure that everything is going to plan. Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. Alright, number 2, the scatter plot shows the average price per square foot of a house in the A line of best fit is also shown. The line of best fit predicted that the average price per square foot in 2001 would be $76. What is the difference between predicted value and actual value of average price in 2001? Alright, let's look at 2001. It'll be somewhere around here. It looks like they predicted about 76, and the actual looks to be about 72. So the difference between those two, they're asking for the difference. 76 minus 72 is 4. Alright, what is the solution to the given equation? -8, -2 to 8. Correct, because if you plug in 8, we get 8 minus 8 cubed, which is 0 equals 0. And that is true. Alright. Cost of some steps to publish a manuscript can vary, shown in the table. E1 writes 30 manuscripts and wants to get them published. What is the minimum cost, in dollars, for professional review? Okay, so professional review minimum cost is $250, so it would be $250 times the 30 manuscripts. And if we do that in our calculator here, 250, oops, I don't know why that didn't work. 250 times 30 should be, yeah, $7,500. Cool. Which of the following graphs could represent the relationship between the number of manuscripts X and the cost Y of acquiring ISBNs? Okay, let's look at ISBNs. Take away all that. Alright, ISBNs across the board look to be about $125, regardless of whether it's the mean, median, or maximum or minimum. So we're looking for 125x, right? Y equals 125x. So we're looking for a line with a slope of 125. Looks like this line has a slope of 50. That's out. This line has a rise of 500 here, and then a run of 4. So 500 divided by 4, rise over run, is 125. The answer is going to be B. Cool. Alright, water quality managers estimated that a population of algae initially covered X square miles of water in a nearby river. After a period of time, the algae grew to cover 375% of its original area. Which of the following expressions represents the area of water in square miles that the algae covered after this period of time? Okay, when you want to convert a percent to a decimal, you take the decimal and move it over 2 spaces. So that then we get 3.75x. The answer is going to be C, not C. It's going to be B. Alright, the nutrition information of a chicken noodle soup recipe is shown on the table. One batch of soup consists of 6 servings. One serving is 1 cup. Okay. Approximately how many calories from fat are in one serving of the cup? Okay. So in one serving of the cup, we got 203 total calories, and then 30% of that are from fat. So we need to take 30% of 203. And if we plug that into our calculator, 60.9, which is 61. Total cost to make one batch of soup is $20. Okay. What is the approximate cost per calorie in cents? Okay, so we need to find the total amount of calories for one batch. One batch is 6 servings, and each serving has 203, so 203 times 6. So 203 times 6 is equal to 1218. So 1218, and then it says cost per calorie. When you see the word per, that should mean divide, right? Divide. So cost is $20 per calorie, 1218. Divide by 1218. Plug that in. 20 divided by 1218 is about 0.016 dollars, which is 1.6 cents. Awesome. What value of x satisfies the given equation? It's got to be -1, right? Because if you plug -1 in here, then you get 0. And if you plug -1 in here, you get 0 times 2, which is 0. 0 equals 0. True. XY plane, what is the y-intercept of the line that? Well, y-intercept occurs when x is 0. Plug in 0 for x. Y equals 4. So where does y equal 4? X, comma, y, here. Alright, the graph of the linear function f is shown. Which equation defines f? Well, let's see. This has a rise of -2 and a run of 1. So the slope is going to be y equals -2x and then plus 2, right? Because the y-intercept here is 2. So that's going to be C. At a speed of 60 meters per second is equivalent to z meters per minute. What is the value of z? Okay, 60 meters per second, right? So we need to convert seconds into minutes. And to do that, we need to... well, how many seconds are in a minute, right? It's just 60. So then you multiply this number by 60 as well. The unit is being multiplied by 60, so is the value. So 60 times 60 is 3,600, or option D. Move on. The given equations are 2 different models that can be used to find the value of dollars of a particular car 2 years after it was purchased. Which of the following statements correctly compares the values of E and V for 0 to 9? Okay, E is always less than V. That's not true. E is always greater than V. That's not true. E is initially greater than V, but okay, yeah. I think the best way to do this problem, remember, we're between 0 and 9, so we can, if we plug in 1, right, for T, so T equals 1, then we get that E is like, let's see, 18, so it'd be like 16,000, and then V would be like, let's see, 0.85 times 18,000, 0.85 times, it would be about 15,300. So we can see that at the start, E is greater. So E is initially greater, yep, and then eventually becomes less than. That makes sense. Table shows summarizes 100 items. Okay, one type C item will be selected at random. So how many type C items are there total? 48. That's the bottom of our fraction. And then how many, what is the probability it will be category 3? That'll be 19 out of 48. B. Henry buys 2 boxes of blue pens and some boxes of black pens. Each box contains 10 pens, and Henry buys a total of 50 pens. The equation 10 times x plus 2 equals 50 represents the situation. Which of the following is the best interpretation of the expression x plus 2 in this context? X plus 2 is going to be the number of boxes total. The total number of boxes that he bought, right? Because it says 10 pens per box, and per... hold on. Henry buys 2 boxes and some boxes of black pens. So yeah, that means he bought 3 black pens, right? Because then it would be 10 times 5 is 50, which makes sense. So I like that. For the linear function f of 6 is 4. Which equation defines f? Okay, Slope of 1/2. They all have a slope of 1/2. So I'm going to use point slope form, and I'm going to do y minus 4 equals 1/2 times x minus 6. Distribute 1/2 x minus 3 minus 4 equals y. So 1/2 x plus 1 plus 4. Sorry, that should be a plus 4. So it should be a. Awesome. Crawford County is shaped like a rectangle. Okay. Length of the county is 6 miles longer than the width. Okay, so the length minus 6 is equal to the width. Oh, here we're using x to represent the width. Okay. Let's add over 6. So x plus 6 is the length, and then x is the width, and they just want the area in terms of x, which is just going to be x times x plus 6, or option D. Exactly how many solutions does this equation have? 1. It's just -3. No other number will make this true. Yeah. The box plots above show distributions of two data sets. Which of the following statements must be true? The minimum value of data numbers in data set A is greater than the minimum number. No, that's not true. We don't know how many numbers are in this data set. How many values? It could be 3, it could be 1,000,000, we don't know. The range of data set A, no, these have equal range. 80 minus 20 is 60 for both. Data set A has more data values. No, again, we don't know how many. So by process of elimination, it's D, but I can prove it to you that dataset A, the median of dataset A is greater, because in a box plot, this line is a median, right? So this is about, like, I don't know, 60, which is much greater than whatever this is, 40. Yeah. In a tournament of 64 teams, each team plays one game in the first round for all rounds. The winning team of each game advances to play a game in the next round, and the losing team is eliminated. Okay, how many teams remain to play? How many teams remain to play in the fourth round? So not how many. Okay, interesting. So we have 64 teams. After the first round, we're going to split that in 2. So round 1, and then we get 32. Round 2, we get 16. And round 3, we get 8. And then round 4, we get 4. But they want how many remain to play in the fourth round. So basically how many after the third round, and that's 8. So the answer is B. Alright, for a certain type of aircraft, the ratio, okay, that means proportion or something, 27 to 100, good. So that's going to be some sort of proportion, equals, let's see, aircraft has a weight, 373000, okay, so 37300123, and then we're solving for x in this case, right? So we can cross multiply. Times 27, and we can divide by 100. And this would probably be A. You could plug it into your calculator to check, but it would be A. Yeah. Alright, the graph of the line, that is translated 2 units to the right. What is the y-intercept of the translated line? Okay, I'm going to draw this out. If you think about it, when you translate a line to the right, here, I'll draw it out. So this is this. It'll look something like this. Not exact, but you get the point, right? So if this is our current line, right, and then we translate it over to the right 2 units, it's going to look a little something like this. Like that, right? You see the y-intercept changes, and so does the x-intercept. The x-intercept moves by 2. So let's find the current x-intercept of our line and then go from there. So x-intercept occurs when y is 0. 0 equals -1/2 x plus 3. Subtract over that 3, so -3 equals -1/2 x. X is 6. Okay. So currently it's 6, our x-intercept. If we translate it 2 units to the right, we add 2 to that. So x is going to be 8. So our new x-intercept is 8, 0, right? Cool. After we establish that, what we can do is the slope doesn't change. It's still -1/2. We just need the y-intercept. So all we have to do is put it in point slope form. Say y equals -1/2 x minus 8. And then distribute. And we can see that we have a y-intercept of 4. Option D. Okay, dataset R and dataset S are represented in the dot plots shown. The mean for each dataset is 50. Which of the following best describes the relationship between the standard deviation of dataset R and the standard deviation of dataset A? Okay, so what you need to know for standard deviation on the SAT is that standard deviation, a high standard deviation means that they will be, the data is spread apart, If the standard deviation is low, that means it'll be very condensed. In this case, we can see that dataset R is a lot more condensed than dataset S. S is more spread out. Therefore, S has a higher standard deviation, right? Because higher standard deviation is spread out. So S should be greater, which corresponds to option C. Yeah. All right. Plotter selling basis. The function P gives the total profit P of X in dollars. What equation represents? Okay, so it looks like they just want us to find the equation of the parabola, and we need to know that a parabola in standard form is f of x equals x minus h squared, or a times x minus h squared plus k, where the vertex is going to be h comma k. In this case, our vertex is 18 comma 1536, so we just need to see where we have an h value of 18 and a k value of 1536, which appears to be B. The bar graph shows the frequency of each data in a value, what is the minimum value? Okay, well, we have 10, 11, 12, and 13, so the minimum is 10. Done. Move on. The histogram shows the distribution of book prices in dollars for the 27 books for sale at a store. The first bar, second bar, and so on, and each interval, the median price book that costs at least 35 but less than 40 is sold. Okay, so if this book right here is sold, that means it's no longer a part of our data set, right? Because these are this bar graph represents books for sale, not ones that are sold. So that's out of there. So now we're only focusing on these. If I call 0 to 5A, 5 to 10B, and this C, and I list them all out, I will end up noticing that the median is B, which is 5 to 10. So the answer is going to be B. One of the two equations in a linear system is given. The system has no solution. Which equation could be the second equation in the system? The answer is going to be C. And I know that because no solution means that they're going to have the same slope, because they are parallel and never intersect. Therefore, they have no solutions, and it can't be B, even though they have the same slope, because it also has a plus 5, and this also has a plus 5, meaning they're the same line and have infinite solutions. Yeah. So a sample of strontium-90 will radioactively decay to half the original quantity, approximately 29 years. The function S above models the amount of strontium-90 in grams that remains T years after 10 grams sampled. Starts to decay. Which of the following is the best interpretation of the number 0.5 in that function? I would say, okay, so it's not the number of approximate years it would take. It's the proportion. Yeah, it's B. And we can check that. It says after approximately 29 years. We can check that by plugging in 29 for T, right? T equals 29. So 29 over 29 is 1. So 10 times 0.5 is 5. So we can see that 10 is our starting value, right? Because when you plug in 0 for this, we get 0.5 to the 0 power, which is just 1. So S of T is 10 when T equals 0. So we go from 10 to 5, which is a 0.5 ratio or proportion. So yeah, I like that. I like B. Which equation is the most appropriate exponential model for the data shown in the scatter plot? Okay, so I can see that when I have x equals 1, y is about 10, right? So when I plug in 1 for x, I should get 10. So if I plug in 1 here, this will not give me 10. If I plug in 1 here, 5 times to the power of 1 is 5 times 2 is 10. B. Cool. In the xy plane, the graph of the given equation is a circle. Which of the point x, y lies on the circle? Okay, let's just go ahead and plug in chug and see what works. So let's plug in A. So x is 3, so 3 plus 3 squared plus y, oops, not y. Y in this case is negative 4. So negative 4 minus 7 is just going to be negative 11. Is this a true statement? 36 plus 121 does not equal 100. Therefore, A is out. Let's try B. So it's still going to be 3 plus 3 squared, which is 36. Plus, but in this case it's going to be negative 1 minus 7, which is 8, negative 8 squared, which is 64, equals 100. And yes, this is true, not 1,000, 100. 36 plus 64 is 100, so this works, and it's B. Okay, rectangle A has an area of 64 square meters. Let's draw a rectangle. Oops, let's draw a rectangle. There it is, 64. We'll call this side length x, we'll call this side length y. Okay, the length and width of rectangle B are 3 times the corresponding, okay. So if we draw another rectangle, and we say this is 3x and 3y, right, because it's 3 times the corresponding length and width. This is going to be, the area is going to be 9xy, right? You multiply these two to find the area. And we know xy here is 64. So we need to find 9 times xy, which is 9 times 64, which is, calculator time, 9 times 64 is 576. 1-digit positive integer will be chosen at random. What is the probability that the chosen integer will be greater than 7? Let's see. How many 1-digit integers are there? There's 9, right? So 9 total. 9 total possibilities. And we are choosing, what is the probability that the chosen integer will be greater than 7? There's only 2 1-digit integers greater than 7, 8 and 9. So that's 2 out of 9 chance. xy is the solution to the given system of equations. What is the value of 10x minus y? Okay. 10x minus y. Well, I can just multiply this by 4 and this by 3. So then I'd get 20x plus 12y. I'm setting up my elimination. It's 124. And then 15x minus 12y is equal to 50 something, 51. I think it's 51. Let's see, 17 times 3. 17 times 3. Yeah, 51. Okay. I'm going to add down. Wow. I'm going to add down. I'm going to cancel these terms. And then I get 35x equals 175. So x is 5. Okay. Let's find y. So we plug 5 back into our equation here. So 5 times 5 is 25 plus 3y equals 31. Subtract 25. And we get that y is 2. Okay, they're asking for 10x minus y. So 10x, which is 10 times 5, minus 2. 48. Done. Move on. The expression blah 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 is equivalent to blah blah blah, where b is a constant. What is the value of b? Distribute. Bah, bah. 6xy squared plus 9xy. That's what we get when we distribute, and they want the coefficient b, which is 6. The percentage of the 10 classifications out of 11 or more elements is p%. What is the value of p? 18 known elements. These elements could be described with 10 classifications. Okay. Okay, so there's 10 total, right? There's 10 total. 10. And of those 10, 4 have 11 or higher. So it's going to be 4 out of 10, which can be represented as 40%. Answer's 40. Element is a nonmetal if it's classified as a halogen, noble gas, or nonmetal. Okay, so halogen, noble gas, or other. Okay, or other nonmetals. So this one, or this one are all nonmetals. So that's 7, 6. That's 20. Okay, so there's 20 total. The ratio of all nonmetals, which is 20, to all elements, and they told us it's 118 elements, right, is equal to 10 to k. Set up a little proportion, cross multiply. 1180 is equal to 20k. Divide by 20, divide by 20. K is going to equal 59. Alright. The line graph shows the wind speed recorded every 2 hours in a town, where x is the number of hours after midnight and y is the wind speed in miles per hour. What is the greatest average change in wind speed in miles per hour? Per hour, okay. So miles per hour between two readings shown in the graph. So we're dealing with miles per hour, which is pretty interesting, but we'll see. Okay, so we can see that the greatest change is obviously between these two right here, right? This point right here and this point right here. The wind speed changes by a total of 10, right? So that's 10 miles per hour. It changes by 10 miles per hour, but we want 10 miles per hour. Remember, when we say per, we're dividing. And how many hours was it? Well, it's 2 hours, so 10 over 2 is 5. In the xy plane, the line k with the equation y equals mx plus b, where m and b are constant, passes through the point -3, 1 if k is perpendicular to the line. Okay. So if it's perpendicular, that means it's going to have a slope, a negative reciprocal slope, which in this case is 1/2 x plus some value of b, right? We plug in this point to find b, so we get 1 equals 1/2 times -3 plus b. Then we get -3 halves equals 2 halves plus b. We can add 3 halves over to both sides, so we get 5 halves is b. And that should conclude the calculator section. Thank you